Hey guys, welcome to Making of a Tracer Gun Part 3. This is a series of videos, so I do recommend please watch in sequence. So in last video I'm started making a low poly, which is a game mesh of this portion in Maya. So I'm going to show you that I did complete it, and because I tell the methods I follow to make low poly, and it is the same method which I just get started. So nothing special, I just did retopo by just adding points and filling the hole. If you didn't watch that video, please do watch that, because I say that these are these videos are in sequence, so I do recommend please watch that one first. So uh, the part let me import that to show you what I did here. It is uppercase high, yeah. So this one is my zbrush mesh. So I just live it and turn on my quad, render default viewport. So as you can see, I made it pretty low poly, and I know I can reduce somewhere more, but I don't want to, because yeah, it's not going to be in a game, and I want to give a bit more resolution than that game mesh. So I think it's fine for me. So as you see here, uh, it has a little more curvature, so I added two loops here. Okay, and if you uh, I have to rechange it, because I always add a loop where the seam lines are, like if the object is separating somewhere, so I added loop over there. It's helps sometimes. Maybe it's not helping in this particular model, but think that if you have a jacket and retopoing it by the point where you have seam on that jacket. Let me open an image for a jacket. Wait, I'm showing you. Yeah, uh, you see this seam over here, and you know there is a seam on your side, like here. If you place edge loop on this edge, then if you going to be UV it the model, then you can cut from that edge to this edge and this upper edge. So in this way, if your seam line in going to be hide, because on that edge the dirt, the texture are not gonna be seen too much, because it's a seam edge like this object, right? This one. So here if I have a texture seam, then it not gonna be so much noticeable. Okay, so yeah, and I did not flip it because I know maybe I need to change something, so I keep that there. And because I made it in a single poly, single mesh like this, so what is the benefit of this? Because I don't have these objects inner side, so it's reduce my poly count there. And I don't have polygon over here inside this, so I reduce also there. So in that way you can reduce your poly count. And for these objects I'm not going to make any low poly. This these lines, it totally gonna baked in with that uh, this mesh this mesh this one. Okay, so yeah, now as you can see in the inner side I have a little bit uh, extra for this because it's uh, if you make a texture of high pass, uh, it gonna be really confusing for you, so I'm not going to be confused. You leave it, because if you have some edges, your model end is here, then you should have little bit extra, and I don't need to create the inner side because it's not gonna be seen. So in this way I just did only this portion only. Okay, I can delete this, I don't need this. Yeah, so and like this edges, and this point is going to be a symmetry point, so except that you can collapse uh, these edges, it will reduce your poly count also. And as you see, this vertex is not needed, so I'm going to close this. I also can combine this vertex and delete these edges, close this, yeah, and also can collapse this also. If any vertex are in a straight line, then you can collapse it for a hard surface. Okay, and yeah, like this you can collapse this also. I don't need this vertex, I can delete that. Yeah, so yeah, I like it now. Okay, so this object is done. File, import high poly. I'm going to make the barrel, and the for the barrel and the disc, it's I'm going to use my low poly mesh, which I have in starting to for the ZBrush. Yeah, in this file, so I'm going to reuse this object so that I don't need to snap it. So this object, let me check what else. Yeah, these two and this one, and for the disk this one. So remove from selected object. Okay, and I'm adding this object to a polygon and to a layer and name it low poly. Done. Make sure you don't have space, it doesn't count space, so I'm just hiding that. And let's join this part first. Go to viewport, combine, and what I'm going to do, just transform component this and intersecting these objects, and I know these vertex are snapped together, so I'm just going to boolean this object and it will combine this object automatically boolean union. So it will automatically combine this object because these vertex are on the exact point. And merge threshold should be 1. No, 0.1. I'm just merging it, yeah. And I remove the crease, I don't need crease on my low poly mesh. And soften and harden, soften edge. So, and as you can see, this not look like a proper cylinder because it doesn't have any loops, but if I added that much loop, it will be increase my poly count. So how I'm going to manage it? So first I just added a crease over here. Let me crease and then add a smooth, then it will capture the loop, but it has too many loops, so I'm going to remove these edges. Okay, so like this. And I don't need the back face of this, so I'm deleting this one also and removing these edges and crease to 0. So now I have poly count. You can see it is 380, but I can still reduce it much. So for this I have to select a alternate edge from this object like this. Okay, so again okay, so let me delete this face and select these edges. Okay, so it is like this, and merge this one. So now you can see it is 280, it's reduced almost 100 polygons. So, and it doesn't have any seal out change. Okay, so as you can see, it is pretty smooth. Turn off this object. And why I reduce this one, I didn't reduce this, because if I reduce this one, then it will change its silhouette, but if I reduce this one, it will covered by is this edge. Okay, this one, so it will not going to seen much rather than this one. Okay, you can see it's pretty sharp over there, but if I reduce this one, then it will be, you can see it is too much. So I reduce this one so that this is going to capture the seal out, not this one. Okay, because if you going to rotate it, it still have a circular, right? But if you going to merge this also and going to, you can see this sharpness, right? Okay, hope you understand. If I need to make more low poly, I can reduce this, okay, like this. So this ring should be proper ring, then it will give the base to it. And for this inner side, I am also going to collapse these edges, not beveling, collapsing, okay. So, and I can reduce these edges, so in this way it going to be more less 268 polygons. So I'm going to use this one, and I think in the mesh this the inner side is not going to show up, so I'm going to reduce this also, like this, okay. So because inner side not going to show up, that's why. And if you think that you doesn't need that much long um, loops, so you can reduce it a little bit, because it will help you to space out your UV, okay. It doesn't have much space, doesn't need much space in UV. So yeah, now you have to think for your model and for your UVs also, so that no mesh should be wasted for your UVs. So now make low poly of this object. uh, as you can see, it is have pretty much uh, high loops. So what I'm going to do, I just delete these points and these also, and I'm going to connect this to here, connect this to here, okay. And in general I should not have this loop, but it's fine with this gun, uh, because it's my for personal work, so I can give this detail to it. Otherwise, if it is a production work, I can remove this also. This detail can be baked in this surface, okay. So, and one more thing, I don't think this age is gonna be enough to be showing in round. It still have a look of jagginess. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some loops over here and edit edge flow it, adding a loop, edit edge flow. Now I added loop, but you can see it increased my polygon. So for this I'm going to do like this, okay. So now I can delete these edges. Now watch the poly count, see, and my roundness is still there, okay. So in this way you can have your roundness also, okay. And I'm going to select the alternate edge from here, okay. Now shift right click, merge collapse, merge edges to center, sorry, collapse edges, so it will triangle like this and it will reduce your poly count. You can scale it up a little bit. Okay, yeah. So uh, let me cover it, because maybe in future I will do a animation of it and it will help me to have that, because Tracer's uh, guns, this ring is come outside when it reloads, right? Like when it reloads it comes like this, and it's rotate like this, then back to his position like this. Okay, so let me have that, so that in future if I do a animation, then I could have that also. Okay, so I will do like this. I remove the crease, I don't want the crease. Yeah, so as you see how I managed to uh, have low poly and high poly, low poly and seal out both, and I think I can reduce this also. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's work, it will work. Select this edge, control alt arrow, it will rotate. Yeah, this is cool. This seems fine. Let me connect this manually, this one, and it should go here. Yeah, so as you see I have my seal out, the round circle, and I have low poly. So in this way you can have your low poly and your detail of your model. Okay, so this is 286, and the let me see the older one. I don't need one, need, yeah, I have that, I can have that. uh, I have this also to model, but in this object it has only this part, so I'm moving to this part, and always going to be part by part, where you split from your ZBrush, go like that only. And I can merge this also to this object, it will help me. Let me hide it, and it's been more than 20 minutes. No problem, I can have a little bit more. I will finish this object. Okay, so delete this. Now I'm going to do the same. I will boolean this to this object, select and go to boolean union. Okay, so it will merge, and it will not perfectly merge because I know the uh, edges are on not true the right way. So I'm going to select these vertices and unselect all of these, so that the other vertex should not merge. And you can select control on one vertex, it will unselect, and double click on another vertex which is connected to this edge and holding control. Okay, so it will unselect the whole loop, click, double click, holding control. Okay, so now shift right click, merge vertex, so it will automatically influence. It doesn't merge, you can adjust the influence threshold. Okay, so I think it's merged, and you can also check with pressing 3 that it is merged or not. Okay, so I have this now. Now let me see where it is, the model. Yeah, so I'm this is too pointy. I'm going to bevel this. Okay, bevel this like this and add a segment. It will little bit around fraction, yeah. And now I can merge these two, these two, this. Okay, so I have it. I don't need any bevel on this low poly object for that mesh. Yeah, so now it seems it covers the whole object. And let me little bit transform this. Shift right click, select the whole loop, shift right click, transform component, and reduce its thickness to little bit. Okay, so yeah, so my this object is done, this object is done. So I have created this object slow poly like this. Okay, so as you can see it's 700 polygon and it is pretty round from every angle. And this is smoothing row piece, so soften edge, yeah. So and these objects can easily be baked into this. Okay, yeah. If you have less polygon limit, then you can also remove these edges. Okay, it will be fine if you have less polygon budget, but it's for my personal work, so I will keep it. So guys, if you like this video, then please give a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. And if you want to uh, use my other methods, and I have really cool videos on how to make bandages and bed sheet with using FX, and how to make texture, seamless texture, please do check out that in my channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Thanks, see you next time.